Back on. Let me know if you can hear me. We're live. I'm Mary Grace. This is Real Talk with Mary Grace. And I think we're streaming on CloudHub, which is awesome. Great. Now, here we go. Good to see everybody. Say hello as you come in. I'm Mary Grace. This is the 1st of September, 2021. And we are live. Okay, good. Hello, Delia. All right. Looks like everything is working. I got my CloudHub working. And so if you want to watch me on CloudHub channel 111, you can do that now. You have to subscribe to my channel. So when you go to that app or to the website, cloudhub.com, you can go to channel 111 and subscribe to Mary Grace Media, channel 111. And I believe that there's now an interactive chat ability over there. Let's see. Let me check it out. They changed everything around and I was procrastinating and I didn't get it set up. So let's see. Channel 111. How about we go to my channel? And it's live. Look, I'm on CloudHub. That's me right now. And hey there, JC. All right, let's see. Good to see everybody. Yeah, I'm live. I'm live on CloudHub. That's just awesome. Now, I thought that there was a chat feature over there. Thought there was a chat feature. I don't know yet. We'll see. I don't see it. If anyone knows a little bit more about it than I do, let me know. I'll have to write to them and see what's going on. I'm live. I'm live on CloudHub. Got it fixed. And I think it's supposed to go onto my website as well. I'll have to work on that because I think I need to change the coding on that as well. Anyway, good to see everybody. Glad you're here. It is a beautiful, kind of rainy Saturday here. We're Saturday. No, it's Wednesday. It's a rainy Wednesday and we're live. And I think we're having the remnants of Hurricane Ida. I took my dad out to the VA this morning and it was quite an adventure. It was raining so hard. We went through massive puddles, and for some reason, I decided to take his car and not my big SUV. Probably should have taken the SUV, but we made it, and we barely missed a major roadblock because of an accident. We got there about 5 minutes late. We usually try to get there early, but they were ready for us. And I want to give another good report from the VA because I know that people have been worried about this and they've been having some issues maybe at their local VA and they're concerned about being forced to do things against their will. Um, Bottom line, I highly recommend that anybody who goes to any appointment at all have an advocate with them, whether it's a doctor's office or a hospital visit or anything like that. And the reason is that I think even the strongest person gets a little bit of white coat syndrome when they're in a doctor's office and they may forget things that they want to ask or it's easier for them to get manipulated and things like that. And so I recommend that. Now, I'm his advocate, I'm his caregiver, and so that's just a no-brainer that I would go with him. But all that being said, I wanted to tell you that the VA in our area, the VA clinic, has been remarkably good. They have been kind and attentive and accommodating, and they have helped us get information that we needed. They have been very kind to my dad. They remember him when he comes in. Uh, they they remember him when he comes in. They remember him when he comes back. The people who work with his hearing aids are just incredibly helpful. And in fact, I wanted to tell you about the hearing aids that he got, and I didn't write down the brand. It's a hearing aid that he gets provided through the VA, and it has an interactive feature where you can give somebody else a microphone to talk into. It's a Bluetooth feature. They can talk into the microphone, and he can hear it. He can hear the person talking to him, and it cuts out a lot of the background noise. And then he can also have it attached to the TV. So he can listen to the TV through his hearing aids without anybody else hearing it. And I'm telling you this because it's not called Eargo. It's a brand that was provided by the VA. But if you have a family member, friend or family member who is hearing impaired, who needs hearing aids, if they're a veteran, they should look into these. So if that's you, write to me because this is the latest technology that they have available. And he didn't have to pay for those. It was provided to him by the hearing specialist at the VA. So it's pretty amazing. And so I wanted to let you guys know about that. Okay. And write to me, info@marygracemedia.com if you are interested, if you need to know more information. Like I said, I left the box upstairs. But the cool thing about the little microphone is that I can clip it to my shirt and just talk to him. And he has a pretty profound hearing loss. I have to look at him a lot, and because he reads lips. And so if we're in the car, it's a little complicated because I have to turn and take my eyes off the road. And so we don't actually we aren't actually able to talk, as much as we would like to. And this is a nice thing. So I wanted to tell you about that. I didn't want to forget about it. It is a really great thing that they're doing for him. And they're also sending a company to the house to install a telephone that has a voice to text feature. And that way, if somebody is calling in, he can see who it is, and it's big writing, and and then if he's on the phone, he can have a voice to text feature just like the subtitles on the TV. That's something that was provided as well by the VA. And so if you have somebody in your family that's hard of hearing that's a veteran, even if they don't need the hearing aids, that might be something to look into as well. So write to me if you need that information, info@marygracemedia.com, and I'll give you that information. But just wanted to give credit where it's due to the VA in my area that they have been just very accommodating. Now, the phone system is still horrible, and it's you can't really get through to anybody, but once we're in there, it's great. So yeah, it's awesome. And I want to really I want to emphasize in today's show, one of the things I want to emphasize is freedom of choice. And there are a lot of things, a lot of areas where we can touch on that. One of those is that we have the freedom to choose how we respond and react in today's climate, in the face of everything that's going on. And we're being given lots of opportunities right now to choose. We're being given opportunities to choose a lot about what it is that we're going to do, how we're going to act, how we're going to proceed now and in the future, and what we're going to do. And going back to the VA thing, I want to make sure that in spite of all of the complications and issues that we find ourselves faced with, I want to recognize and celebrate the good in what's happening right now. It's a good situation for my dad in light of everything else that we've been through and in light of the fears that we had. And I want to encourage all of my listeners here about something. I'm seeing some things. Let me go back. So, the president has been talking for a long time about his stance on the jab, and a lot of people are still pretty wrapped around the axle about that because they think that he is advocating for people to be forced for that. I've had people approach me about that and say, uh, here's a commentator who's talking about how he's advocating people to be forced to do that. Uh, I want to make very clear that the president is not in any way, shape, or form advocating that. He says repeatedly that people should have freedom of choice. And I'm going to get a little more into detail about that, but I want to emphasize the part about freedom of choice today. I want to talk about this because he's talking, as he often is, about more than one thing. He's not just talking about freedom to choose what goes into your body. He's actually talking about the freedom to choose what you do and how you do it, and the freedom to choose whether you're going to fight this fight or whether you're going to wait for somebody else to fight it for you. Um, and so I think this is important, and I want to emphasize this in a very big way. I want people to understand the president from the very first day, even before he was inaugurated in 2017, he has always emphasized that this movement is about returning power to the people. And I see a lot of people who are still waiting for the savior politician to come and save them, whether it's President Trump, whether it is another person in his place. There is still a sort of a passive victim mentality that I'm seeing among a lot of his supporters. And this is a dangerous position to take, I believe. I want to emphasize this, and I want to encourage you. First of all, your only savior is Jesus Christ. But period. No questions asked. Uh, he uses other people to affect change. He uses other people to to have massive impact on the world. He uses people and and he uses you and me and private citizens, children, men, women of all ages. And my my stance is that 100% yes, he's coming back, and it's not gonna be 2024. We're not waiting for another election. What's been happening is going to get fixed. It has to. That being said, the reason that it's getting fixed is not because he's waving a magic wand and going, "Oh, fixed, done." Every single election at every single level in states and localities is fixed because I say it's fixed. Think about your stance right now. Think about where you are in terms of your desire for things to be fixed, your discomfort level about what's happening in your town, in your community, in your state. And think about how realistic it is to expect that one person sitting in the White House can fix all of the things that are a problem right now. It's because of him that we know they're a problem. We were asleep at the wheel for a very long time. Would you not agree? We were asleep at the wheel for a very long time. And because of him, a shining light has come to expose a lot of corruption. And in the process of doing that, he has never wavered from saying people have freedom of choice. And I want to contend, I want to present to you that I firmly believe, I firmly believe that that he is urging and encouraging the people of this country, the people of the world, to take very seriously the fact that you have freedom of choice. And um, and I want to emphasize something. There is there's been sort of a mindset that we can't criticize him, okay? That he is beyond reproach, that he is sort of like a sacred cow, among his supporters. And I think that he would be the first one to tell you, no, that's not the case. I want to know when something is not working. I want to know when I make a mistake. He's actually said that before. He's not perfect. He knows he's not. Somebody just said in the comments that he got booed at a rally when he talked about taking it, when he said, you should take it. I think that's actually a good thing because why? Why is that good? First of all, it shows that the people are actually standing up. They're willing to stand up to him. They're willing to stand up to they're willing to stand up to um, anybody. And one of the things that he has taught us is you got to stand up and think about what life was like before he became president. We had a quite a bit of mamby-pamby, milquetoast Christians and conservatives running around just kind of living life and coasting along and not getting engaged in anything. And I actually think that the fact that he was booed, I think he actually probably would take that as a point of pride, saying, finally, my people are standing up for themselves and they're not expecting me to be the only one to speak for them. They are finding their voice and they are willing even to express disappointment with me. It's like a proud father, like, oh good. Oh good. they're they're taking a stand. This is awesome. And so that's just something to think about, that whether he did or didn't take it is irrelevant at this point, because as an American, it is incumbent upon you to stand on your own 2 feet and to make your own decisions. And that is something that people have abdicated for a very long time. They've lived in this passive victim mentality for a very long time. And it's time for that to stop. And so if you will listen to him, you will always hear him say, I took it. Now, I'm not convinced that he's saying he took the shot. I'm not convinced, because there are other ways, there are other things that he's taking. Okay. But I don't want to split hairs. However, uh, what I want you to understand is he will never, you will never hear him say nationwide mandate, yes. Local mandate, yes. Nothing. He came out immediately when they started talking about masking kids again. He immediately said, stop this. And so for him to turn around and say that he was advocating forced shots would be completely out of character. And if you're listening to broadcasters who are telling you that, who are extrapolating certain things that he says, um, I want to present to you that those people are not reading between the lines, that they are taking everything he says at face value. And if there's anything I've taught you at all over the last 5 years, it's that you have to look at the layers of what it is that he's saying. And you have to understand the complexity of what he's dealing with. So let's think for a minute about what would happen if he turned the tables right now and said, the deep state is trying to kill you. The deep state is horrible. The thing is poison. It's part of a population control agenda. Don't take it. Everybody stop. Everybody resist. I'm sorry that I ever told you to take it. So just imagine right now if he came out and did that. Think about this. Right now, the media is still a captured operation. Who is in charge of getting news out right now? Who are the voices that most people are listening to right now? It's still CNN. It's still MSDNC. It's still CBS. The people are still listening to these clowns. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It doesn't even matter if it's true or not. If he comes out and says that, even though we know it's true, if he does that, it's political suicide. And he is balancing, he's walking a very fine line, because whether you like it or not, there are many, many people out there who are his supporters who don't believe the way that you do about wearing the face diaper or taking the thing. They don't think that way. Now, do we want them to get educated and to have a change of mind? Yes, we do. But let's go back again to what he's been saying. We are returning power to the people. It's about personal choice. And so, again, If he's speaking in layers, he's speaking to you, the people that are awake, and he's saying to you, it's time to choose how you're going to live your life and what you're going to communicate to those around you. Are you going to hide and just not say anything and let your friends and family just, make a decision that might hurt them? Or are you going to at least take a stand and try to give them the information, knowing that at the end of the day, each person is responsible for the choices they make. You might have a family member that made the decision and did it without doing their due diligence. That is not his fault. That is not his fault. He didn't make anybody do that. And so if you're listening to somebody that's throwing blame on him because he said, I think people should take it, I think this, I think that, I would rethink that. I would rethink, the voices that you're listening to. Okay, because he is, um, it's not his fault. He's not forcing anybody to do anything. And if you are taking that stance, then you're actually taking a victim mentality if you're blaming him for decisions that other people made. And so I wanted to put that out there. And I also wanted to put it out there. I've put this out here before. I still get people asking me about this because, why did he do it? Why did he develop it? Why does he keep talking about it? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of what he does is for optics. A lot of what he does is, to keep the eyes over here and not over here. And if you understand that there are operations going on in the background, it is important for him to maintain the optics and to maintain a level of, I don't know if you want to call it neutrality, because of the deep state. All eyes are on him. I mean, think about this. He actually still gets more press than the resident in chief as the quote former president. Now, we all know the truth about what's going on, but it's so important that he maintain the optics. And I know that that's a frustrating thing to hear. I know that you want him to come out and just, ride in on a white horse and say, everybody's been lying to you. It's all fake. It's all dangerous. It's all this. It's all that. Everybody stop. Don't take it. Whatever. You want him to say all that. This is not the time, and it's not even remotely practical for him to do that right now because he's running cover for things that are actually happening in the background to fix what it is that is it needs to be fixed. Because let's face it, guys, as horrible as it is to see the devastation of people getting this thing and making the decisions to take this, there are bigger issues going on because the truth is, if we do not fix the election process, I feel like a broken record sometimes. If we don't fix that, then it doesn't matter how you feel about any of this. Because if you think that your freedoms are under assault now, there will be absolutely no discussion whatsoever about freedom down the road. We will be the sister country to communist China. If you think that you're being forced now to do something, then you don't understand the meaning of the word forced. Think about this. If you think that that anybody, uh, oh my goodness, Millie. Okay, right now I hear this a lot. I hear people saying, "Yeah, but I'm being forced to do this. I'm being forced to do that. My kid is being forced to do this. My kid is being forced to do that." Real? Are they really? I don't mean to sound harsh or uncaring, but think about this. Think about what it means to be forced. Think about if you are a young child in China and they decide that you need this medication, um, you don't have a choice because literally they're going to take you from the home and do whatever they need to do to physically force that into your body. The same thing that has happened with their forced abortion policy. I had a friend who was born in mainland China, and she was one of two girls, which was bad enough. But because her mother resisted and did not abort them, um, the mother was forcibly sterilized. I'm not talking about like she didn't get a letter that said you have to come down here or else you can't go to work or whatever. I'm talking about physically, physically, bodily forced. Okay. Um, and so I think it's important to have perspective right now in America when you use that word, forced, because unless you are being held down physically with a gun to your head, or some other type of physical assault, sedated or whatever, and then having that thing done to you where you're actually violated and having the procedure done, then you are actually not being forced. You actually still have freedom of choice. That's what President Trump is trying to tell you. And that as Americans, it is time, it is past time for you to stand up for those choices and for that freedom of choice. I can't emphasize this enough. Is it uncomfortable? Yeah. Do you feel like you're being forced? You do, because sometimes it feels like you're being forced to make a decision. In that case, that might be true. That might be an accurate use of that word forced. I'm being forced to choose between having a job or taking the thing in my arm. That's a forced choice. Okay. Are you being forced to take it? No. Could it result in something really uncomfortable, unpleasant, and outside of your wishes? Yeah. Are you feeling uncomfortable and sad and depressed and scared? Yeah, I'm not diminishing any of that. Are you being forced? No. There's a tremendous amount of pressure, though, and I get that. And the answer to that is we, the people, rising up and forcing the people that are in those positions of power to stop what they're doing. And we're seeing that around the country. And guess who has empowered people to do that? You guessed it, President Trump. Let's go back to what he says. I believe that people should have the freedom to choose. Is he talking about just medical procedures? No, he's talking about the people should have the freedom to choose how they respond to these tyrannical actions by elected officials. Um, and so this is important that you understand that. If you're having trouble hearing my broadcast on socialist media, switch over to Clout Hub, and I am on channel 111. All right. Channel 111 on Clout Hub. I am streaming there now. Uh, so just I want to go back to this message because this is such an important message. And there is no scenario in which we as human beings, we as Americans, are being called to be passive. We are past the time of being passive. Uh, for those people that say God is in control, I want to challenge you on that because I want to challenge you when people say that, that is in my opinion, a cop out. And it may not be a popular opinion, but let me explain. God is in charge. He is the master of all things. He has given us free will, however. And when people say God is in control, I sometimes sense that people take a passive role in their life, and they literally just sit back and allow whatever happens to happen. It's sort of a laissez-faire attitude, and then they say, "Oh, well, God is in control," as if God did that horrible thing. And so I want to challenge you to really maybe look at that from a different perspective. God has given you free will. He's given you a strong, innate sense of truth and freedom That's how you know that something is wrong, something is deeply wrong here. And he has given you the ability to stand up, to have a voice, to speak out, and to fight injustice, to right wrongs when you see them. And our nation was founded on those principles. Imagine if George Washington and the Patriots had sat back and said, "Oh, well, God is in control. King George is an utter tyrant, and he is basically abusing us into forced labor. We're basically slaves, serfs here on this little piece of earth. And but God is in control, and so c'est la vie. What will be will be." Imagine if they had done that. I wouldn't be doing this right now. We would be, eating bangers and mash and singing "All Hail the Queen." Um, do you get what I'm saying? So it really is. It's more than just a passive. Um, uh, it's more than just a passive relationship. Okay, and so I just wanted to. I wanted to really be clear about that. I want people to be clear about that. And so yeah, I did see a comment that made me think about that. I'm not saying that anybody in my chat is doing the whole God is in control, sit back and, let whatever happens happen thing, but it just triggered that thought with me, and so I wanted to address it because I hear it a lot. I hear people say that a lot. And so just be aware that that is not God's stance um on things. All right. Now, I'm going to take a moment here to talk about my schedule because a lot of people have been writing and saying, "Where's Mary Grace? Why isn't she here? What's she doing?" All right. First of all, I do talk about this in my shows. So if you are listening to me, you would have heard me say that I was going to be gone when I did my music broadcast about a week and a half ago. Now, I had people writing on the Telegram chat saying, "Where's Mary Grace? Did she leave? Did her channel get taken down? Is her YouTube gone?" Et cetera, et cetera. No, here I am. I'm right here. If you're able to go back and watch replays on any of my channels, that means that it's still there, that I'm still there. All right. Let me talk about my schedule now. So last week, I was away. I went to Florida. I took my niece on vacation because she graduated from her 2-year associate's degree, debt free, with money in the bank. Amen. Hallelujah. And so we went and had an amazing, fantastic time. We went surfing, we went shopping, we went to Disney World, we went to the west coast of Florida. We did amazing things, and so that was my week last week, and I had just an awesome time. My niece is 20, and she's my mini, so we just had a fantastic time. Now, that was last week. What's coming up? I will tell you. The week of September, what is it, 12th, 13th, that week, September 11th, I'm driving up to New England. I'm taking my dad to New England. We're going to be gone for a week. So I will not be on that week of September 13th through the whole week. I'm taking him to New England. I don't even know what our internet will be like up there. So don't look for me that week. You can go back and watch replays. You can catch up on other podcasts, catch up on other channels, but make a note. I will be gone the week of September 13th. And then again, the week of September 26th. I have another trip planned. Part of that I'll be in Oklahoma. Part of that I will be up in the mountains away from internet. So write that on your calendars. No Mary Grace the week of the 13th and then the week of the 26th. And I believe starting in October, I will be back on a regular schedule. How does that sound? I know that there's a lot happening. I know that there is, a great deal going on. And Delia just said all of this information will be in the show notes. So you can refer back to it. We do have a wonderful resource in Delia writing down the show notes. And so you can always go back and check the show notes. And, there, as you know, those of you who've listened to me for a while, you know that I've had quite a bit going on the last few years. And I've had quite a bit going on the last few years. And so, this summer has been just an opportunity for me to do some traveling, to spend more time with family, to kind of catch up on some things with the house. As you know, I have my contractor that's been coming and going. Hopefully, he'll be finished by October. But he's coming and going. He actually has a second job. He works for the power company. So yesterday he was on call because of the storm that was coming through, things like that. So it's a little unpredictable. But he's doing a great job. So, there's just a lot going on. It's summertime. I think it is still summer until the 20th. And so that's just kind of a rundown of what's happening. I'm not stopping. I'm not abandoning you. I'm just trying to take care of business in situations that don't allow me to broadcast. Yeah, I'm taking my dad to Cape Cod. He was born in Massachusetts. He hasn't been up there probably for 30 years or more. And this is great because we're going to see family. He's going to be see some very close friends, and he's going to be on the Cape. So what more could you ask for? And yeah, I'm going to be in. Somebody asked where I'm going to be in Oklahoma, and I'm going to be in Tulsa. Yeah, so that's a weekend thing. That's a work thing, but that'll be fun. Somebody just asked what podcast I listen to. I listen to Elijah Streams a lot. They have really good guests on just about every day. I always make a point of listening to Wednesdays with Kat and Steve. I also listen to Pastor Hank Kunneman. He is at Lord of Hosts Church, I think. And let me think about what other podcast I listen to. Those are the ones that I'm trying to get caught up on. I also listen to Steel Truth, steeltruth.com. That's Ann Vandersteel. She has a show that she does every night. I was on last night, by the way, so you might want to go catch that. And what else? Her show is live weeknights at 9, and then she also does replays. Okay. Any other questions before I move on? I know that you missed me, so I'll answer some questions here. Let's see. The main thing that I wanted to talk about really, really, really was um, taking personal responsibility. Lives in 2 hours from Oklahoma. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, this is a good commentary. Okay. Somebody, SoCal Gal says, I walked around all around Safeway yesterday without a mask on, and not one worker said to put it on until I got to the register. Um, uh, the register person asked me if I wanted a mask, and I said no. That's how it's done, people. You take back your freedom. You don't ask for it. Don't ask for it. Oh my goodness, there's my brother, Nick. Ah, so awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay. Uh say hi to my little brother, everybody, in YouTube. He's here harassing me. Okay. We have a troll on aisle 6. All right. Not really. Okay. Now, let me go back to my notes here. Oh, here's something that's been bugging me. Have you guys noticed how Orange Woman Bad, also known as Jen Psaki Circleback, she constantly refers to the people who are stuck in Afghanistan as Americans who want to come back. We're going to get the ones who want to come back, the ones who want to leave. Have you noticed that? And, she put quite a bit of energy into saying that, nobody's stranded over there. And then she had to admit that that people are stranded. It's pretty much a hostage situation, right? But imagine, think about this. And unless you are um, Robbie Dawkins, who is going over there literally to minister to Afghan Christians, right? Unless you're him, right? You're over there. You've been trying for months through the embassy, through the State Department to get out. And now the Orange Woman Bad is referring to you as somebody who, as Americans who want to get out. Like, seriously? Oh, yeah, they're going door to door. killing people who have any English, anything written in English, um, anybody American. They're taking American passports. You're one of those people, and you're thinking, oh gosh, I could get out, but nah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, in what scenario is there? In what scenario is there a person who's sitting there saying, "Nah, I don't need to leave. I'm only being hunted down by terrorists, but no, I'm good." Come on, Saki. Seriously. I mean, this is crazy. And you know what I think is crazy too is that hold on a second. During the pandemic, I don't know if you remember, the State Department put out numerous communiques over and over again saying if you are outside of the country, it is essential that you contact the State Department and arrange safe passage back to the US. They were doing that from the get go, like from January all the way through the summer. Like, we want to get you home, especially before the lockdowns really went into full effect. Do you remember that? And uh and so so they were doing that. The State Department, Mike Pompeo's State Department, was turning over heaven and earth to get Americans back into this country. They literally had people going down the Amazon in South America to go find Americans and tell them, "Oh, hey, there's a pandemic. The country is locked down. We need to get you out. Like, get on this plane and come home." Do you remember that? That was what was happening, and that was all over the country, like, all the continents. They were going and finding people. Now we've got one country where we had a long time to plan for this, a long time. And people had time. People should have been giving people were trying to communicate with the embassy. They were trying to communicate with the State Department, like, yes, I want to leave, applying to get out, etc. And now, like, they had one job, one country. And not only did they leave people, they left the dogs, they left the service dogs, they left the military dogs. How bad is it? How incompetent do you have to be to mess up just evacuating one country? That alone should be such a stark reminder of the level of the lack of incompetence. And it's not just incompetence, it's a very strong indicator that that this was intentional, that they just don't care, and that they do not care about Americans, and that the welfare of Americans is at the bottom of their list. Because a plane load of refugees arrived at Fort Bliss today. They're Afghans, not Americans. We still have Americans stuck in country. We have American students stuck in country, and yet somehow they managed to get Afghans here. How? How is that even possible? All right. Um, this is crazy. It's crazy that this is happening. And Dealey is saying they left the contractor service dogs, not actual military service dogs. Okay, so that's a distinction. Thank you for clarifying that. However, they just left them. They left these dogs. No room. We can get all of these refugees because we want to repopulate the country. I'm not saying that those people aren't important, but America first. Get the Americans home. Okay? It's not that hard. And again, the Pompeo State Department managed to find Americans in every corner of the world at the beginning of the pandemic. It's just insane. Um, okay. McConnell just said Biden is not going to be impeached. Well, you can't impeach an illegal president, I don't think. Uh, yeah. I think that they got somebody was working on getting the dogs out. But you know that private citizens were going and flying Americans out. You do know that, right? that groups of veterans were going in and extracting citizens. Hold on just a second, guys. I just have to take a call. I'm going to mute for a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's see. Somebody says, um, your theory is that the admin wants to go back in for another war. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, yeah. The war machine. They're trying to rev up the war machine. Again, they couldn't stand the thought of having peace for the first time in 20 years because for them, peace means that they're not making as much money. Um, you know, and so I yeah, I mean, we know who they're bringing into the country. Let's just not have any illusions about that. It's not women and children. It's fighting age men. I would be shocked if we saw actual little children. But in a way, that's sort of like a DACA situation all over again. Um, so I, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I firmly believe that we are in devolution and that this story is far from over, that we are not going to be waiting until 2024 for an election, a new president. One of the questions that I have is, when he comes back, whether it's through um, through decertification and then, having the states choose the president, or whether it is through devolution. Either way, my question is, do we start the clock? Let's say that it all starts in 2022. Does he get just 3 years or does he get another four? Actually, in my opinion, he should get a whole eight because they stole pretty much the whole presidency from 2016 until now. Between the Mueller report and the fake impeachments and all of that, I think that we're owed our time. I'm reclaiming my time right now, and I want him to be back in office all of that time. So that's my answer to it. But I don't know the actual answer about how long he gets. You know, there's so many things that are changing. From a practical standpoint, are we just trying to are we going to keep everything on a 4-year schedule, so that it's always on the even years? I don't know. I don't think so. Uh, but we want him back as soon as possible, right? That's what we want. Somebody just asked me to comment on Markwayne Mullen. That is a congressman. Hold on, Oklahoma rec. Sorry, rep. It sounds like he's on his way back from Afghanistan. I don't know enough about that story. I did hear that somebody was stranded, but I don't. Um, have any more information on that. Now, Delia is saying if he returns with less than half the term left, he would get the chance to run again. Okay, we don't want that though. I want to know what happens if he returns, after a full year went by of the faker sitting in that seat. That's what I want to know. How how do we get our time back that was stolen from all this time? Now, somebody mentioned something about the audit in Maricopa. Uh, I shared an article yesterday about the fact that Missouri is now going to be having a statewide audit. And somebody asked the question, why does Missouri need an audit? It seems like things went well here. Well, one of the things that I've noticed from listening to Seth Keshel is that he is actually finding discrepancies in all counties. So even though your county or your rep may have won the race in your county, if you look at the numbers that Seth Keshel is analyzing, in many cases, the reason that we need the audits is to make sure that everything was done above board. Because in a lot of counties, what we're finding is that the Democrats and their Republican cohorts are cooking the numbers in such a way that it looks like the Democrats that the county is on the verge of turning blue. And they've done that a lot in Texas. And the reason that they've done it, and the reason that you want an audit, is uh, is because um, is because you want to make sure that they don't succeed at gradually boiling the frog until all of a sudden that county or district has turned blue. Do you see what I'm saying? And so you want to leave no stone unturned. You want to uncover every rock, and you want to uncover corruption under every rock, especially the rocks that look the cleanest, you know, because it's those subtle cheats that in many cases are what have gotten us to where we are, that they've been cheating systematically over time. So that's one reason. Now, the other thing and the other reason that it's important is because Missouri is the first full state to do a full audit. And that is going to set the ball rolling for the other states to do it. That's why. And I think it's actually good that it's a supposedly red state that's doing it, because you know, from an optics standpoint, from an optic standpoint, it actually sits better with the left and the Democrat socialist controlled media, because they can't accuse those nasty Republicans of targeting a blue state for audits, right? So those are just some of the things. Okay. All right, Deb on Facebook, you're doing something with your typing where it looks like you're adding links. You're actually typing a period and then you're missing a space, so it looks like you're putting links in the chat. Can you just be a little more careful about that, because it's going to get flagged as a link. Facebook hates those. All right. Um, so so every state needs to audit down to, like the dog catcher level. All right. And, you know, Texas is a great example, because what they're doing is, and this is the way the propaganda works. This is the way, if you think about Nancy Pelosi, her smear campaigns, they start the narrative sometimes small. And so they cook the books, they cook the numbers in these areas, and they do it subtly. But then when they analyze the numbers, when they show you the numbers, they say, um, when they say, "Oh, it looks like this part of Texas is trending blue," and so they get that thought set in people's minds, so that when they steal it at a bigger level, they've already told you, "Oh, it looks like it's trending blue." See what I mean? And so it's a subtle gaslighting. That's how they do it, okay? And, yeah. So that's why an entire state needs to be, that's why an entire state needs to be, audited. Every single state needs to be audited, alright? Now, going back to the beginning of my show, I was talking about how our attitude is everything, and a lot of people have been, really focusing on the negative. I mean, I do it too, but it sort of allows the devil to get a foothold and to get stronger. And I wanted to read you a scripture that I was thinking about. This is in Habakkuk 3:17. This is a scripture that a lot of you are familiar with, but it goes like this. It says, "Though the fig tree should not blossom, and there be no fruit on the vines, though the yield of the olive should fail, and the fields produce no food, though the flock should be cut off from the fold, and there be no cattle in the stalls, yet I will exult in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. The Lord God is my strength, and he has made my feet like hinds' feet, and he makes me walk on my high places." That is a scripture that I think everybody should meditate on because, we're always going to have trouble in this world. There's always going to be trouble. The choices that we make about how we deal with it are everything. Okay. And that's important. I think I know it's important to take that perspective. It's important not to partner with the negativity and not to go down that road of just focusing all the time on what's wrong. Because whether it's, the current things that are happening or something that happens next week, there's always going to be bad news. There's just, I mean, until you get to heaven. But, our mandate is actually to celebrate the goodness of God and to bring heaven to earth. And the question is, how do you do that as a Christian? What are your words and your actions communicating to other people? If you're complaining all the time, if you're running around, telling everybody that the sky is falling and these bad things are happening, then what really is what is it that is your message? How are you any different from anybody else that is in despair about all that's happening? What are you doing to change it? What message are you sending? You know? And what is it that you believe deep in your heart? Do you believe that God is good? Do you believe that he is capable of doing things, of using his people, or even doing a miracle to make changes in the situation now? These are some important questions to ask. And I think that anybody who is a Christian really needs to think about where your focus is, okay? Including me. It's very easy to get locked in on trials and tribulations and to think about all the things that are just bad. It's very easy to get locked in on that. How can you be the one that makes the difference in what you say and think? How can you be that person? That's the question. Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions? While you're thinking of your questions, I want to remind you that I have a promo code for you to get superfoods. Some of you have heard me talk about superfoods before. Some of you have not. But if you don't know what it is, I have organic green superfoods that are manufactured right here in America. And a lot of my listeners have already used them. A lot of them are using them every single day. It is a complete and total lifestyle transformation if that's what you want it to be. If you're trying to figure out how to eat better, but you just don't know how, if you know that you need to eat more fruits and greens and you're just not sure and you don't think you can afford organic, this is a great way to do that. It's a great way to start. And so I would encourage you to write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and get a promo code so that you can save over $100 off of a 30-day supply of superfoods. It includes everything you need, all your protein, your fruits, your greens, your probiotic, your prebiotic, anti-inflammatory. It's an alkaline diet. So if your doctor has said, you need to be more alkaline, you have a lot of inflammation. If you're dealing with, um, you know, heart issues, cholesterol issues, inflammation, chronic pain, those kinds of things, changing your diet to something like what we have with our superfoods is is really essential. And there are a lot of people who've seen some incredible changes in their bodies and their mood, their minds. If you're dealing with brain fog and depression, that is something that your food can really have an impact on. So write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and get your voucher. Somebody wrote to me last week about it, and I don't think I got you a reply. So if that was you and I missed you, just write to me again and say, hey, that was me. And I would like to get my voucher. Okay. Does anybody else have a what was the name of the first Elijah Streams podcast? What do you mean? Oh, Wednesdays with Kat. That's the one I like. So Elijah Streams is a channel on YouTube, and they are also, I think they upload to Rumble as well, rumble.com. And so you can get their content there as well. Um, let's see. All right, how does Trump get his time back? Question. Yeah, that's a good question. Now, I I was going to do a song for you guys, but I need to change a setting on my YouTube channel because apparently if I didn't know this, but my YouTube channel is monetized. Did you guys know that? Do you see ads on my YouTube? Tell me if you do. I have YouTube Premium, so I never see ads, but do you guys see ads when my YouTube channel comes up? Because I got a copyright hold on my show when I was doing music because apparently if I'm doing songs that are copyrighted, people can put a copyright claim on my show if I have a monetized channel. I got to check that because I did it right before I went on my trip and I haven't had time to look. Do you guys know? Like, isn't that weird? Weird. You never see ads on my channel. So I don't know what they're talking about. Is it because I mean, I don't have super chats, do I? I wonder why they did that. Why did they put a copyright claim on my channel? Well, maybe we should experiment and see if they do it again. Maybe I should do a song and see if I get another copyright claim. I don't want to get my channel taken down. Oh, and then somebody asked me a question. Um, they asked the question, uh, why 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 are people still using these platforms if that's where deep state is? Because there are also normies on those platforms. I'm going to keep using them until I can't. And that is just my that is just my that is just my take. I don't have to I don't not everybody has to do that. If you don't wanna be on those channels, if you don't wanna be on socialist media, you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you. This is where we get into the word forcing again. I have a CloutHub channel. My CloutHub channel is active now. You can watch me on CloutHub if you don't wanna be on those other platforms. If I put a link in my Telegram channel that links to one of those platforms, you don't need to comment on how bad those platforms are or how nobody's there or how it's Twitter or it's Facebook or you don't have a login. It's not just for you. You're not the only person that's looking at my channel. And I want you to understand that because, there's billions of people on the planet. And a lot of them are not even close to being at the level of understanding that you are. And so if I put something on Suckabuck's platform, it's because I know that there are people there who are gonna see it that would never they don't even know CloudHub exists. And I don't wanna be talking into a vacuum. I don't wanna be part of a big circle jerk where nobody actually is getting anything new. That's not my goal here. And so that's an explanation for what is actually happening and for why I will share links from those places. That's why I'm still on these platforms. Everybody needs to choose for themselves. Um, but that should be a little bit of an understanding of why I do it. Okay? Now, I do have a song that I wanted to do. So let's do it. Okay? Okay, why is this getting stuck? So nobody sees ads on my YouTube. I don't know why they did that. I have no idea why they did that. Why they gave me a copyright claim or something when I did music a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago. Don't know. All right. Let me see. Oh, speaking of, okay, one of the things a lot of people are canceling their Chase credit cards because they canceled General Flynn. I never had Chase, but we actually did leave Wells Fargo. My parents were with them for years, and now we're with Navy Federal. And people are asking about who to go with. People are recommending that you go with community banks, local. We are with Navy Federal. We don't have a branch. Um, I'll get back to that comment in a minute, Delia. Okay. We don't have a branch, but we do everything online. So, Navy Federal Credit Union, if you are military or veteran, or if somebody in your family can refer you, that's a good one, and you can get a credit card through there. Delia says it has nothing to do with ads, just copyright. Um, yeah, but the copyright claim, Delia said something about the fact that my channel is monetized, and that's why they did it, because I wasn't playing recorded music. I wasn't trying to sell anything. Um, I wasn't playing someone else's music in the background. I was doing covers of songs, and the language made it sound like I can't do that I can't do a cover of a song that's copyrighted because my channel is monetized. That's crazy. That's the point of what we're doing here. I wasn't playing recorded music. I didn't have my iTunes open. Yeah, I know they said that General Flynn's account was reinstated. Do you think that he's going to go back to them? That it was a mistake? That wasn't a mistake. That was a targeted cancellation of a patriot. And also, they had second thoughts about that after the masses called up and canceled their cards and their accounts. People took all of their stuff out of Chase Bank. That's how we do it, guys. Um, that's an example. All right. Operation Starfall. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you still hear me? Okay. Can you hear the guitar if I play it? Can you hear the guitar? Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me, and all my days I'm held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire and darkest nights. You close like no other. I love you like a father. I've known you as a friend, and I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of your goodness, God. So it is time to sing of the goodness of God. Focus on the goodness of God, not on all the bad things that are happening, right? Because, we're never going to run out of bad things to talk about. It's just a fact. It just is what it is. If it's freezing for you, it's probably your situation. So might be your internet. Okay. So do what you can to get it back. All right. Okay, good. When did I learn to play guitar? I learned when I was in high school, long time ago. My father, my late father, was a musician. He played guitar. Let's see. God is so good. God is so so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. God, you're so good. You're so good to me. God answers prayer. God answers prayer. God hears my prayer. He's so good to me. Simple little song you can sing, when you're starting to get down, because God is good. He never stops being good. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. Okay, somebody says, I wanted to learn to play guitar, knowing piano doesn't translate well to guitar. I think it. Well, I've been learning piano. I think there's a lot of connection. I mean, if you know a little bit of theory, if you know chords, I don't know. Oh, thank you. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. Anybody can sing that, right? You can sing it just in the car. God is so good. He's so good to me. One thing I'm thankful for today is that my computer and my lights are working, because Barley George, the cat, was very naughty this morning. He got up onto the desk and somehow managed to pull the entire operation down onto the ground. The computer, the light fell apart, came unplugged, everything came unplugged. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. Everything flew onto the floor. We have carpet, thank goodness. So that's something I'm thankful for. And yeah, so see, it's the little things. Just find the things to thank God for, because there's always something to thank Him for, right? God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. Okay, let's see. You're welcome, everybody. It was crazy. Barley George. He missed me when I was gone. He would not have had a good time at the beach, though. Too much happening. Okay, so I'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, I've been sort of juggling times with my contractor. And so I would start, keep an eye out on the channel at about 3 o'clock, 3:30. Oh, I'm going to be on a presidential prayer call tomorrow with the president, the real president. Do you think Faker would do one of those? So there's a call with um, there's a call with the president at 2 o'clock Eastern. So those usually last, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour. And so I'm going to be on that, and hopefully I'll be able to report some things from that he's got going with faith leaders. Um, Pretty exciting, because he was doing those during the year, like up until they stole the election. So Pastor Paula White has me on a list. I'm on a list. I'm on a good list. And, so I'm gonna be on that. So I'll report back. I think, he's obviously gonna talk about a lot of the things that have been going on, of course, but also about persecution of Christians, things like that. So hopefully there will be some good nuggets there. I think it's a good sign. He's been meeting with a lot of his leadership and cabinet members. He met with Richard Grinnell, I think yesterday. So, don't despair. Be at peace. Trust in God. It's not over, guys. Okay. Um, yeah, it's one of those listening calls. I don't think I'll be talking to him, but he'll be on the call talking to all the faith leaders that are on the call. So it's pretty good, pretty exciting. Yeah. If you think that your pastor would want to participate, let me know. Um, and I'll try to get them on the list. Okay. All right. That's it. Don't forget to write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, about superfoods. And if you heard me talking about my dad's hearing aids earlier, that's something to write about as well. And I think that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. Keep an eye out for me starting at about uh, 3 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully, I'll be able to come on between then and 5 p.m. All right. So, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and just stay focused on, you know, keep the main thing the main thing. Right? Have a great afternoon. Thanks to all my moderators.